It's Uriel from Big Brother.
Hey, what it do, guys? What's up?
How are you, girl? How are you?
I'm good.
So the All-Stars, to be honest, I wouldn't have guessed that you would come back. I don't know. I didn't know who was going to come back, to be honest. And I remember being super excited because really, really did love you on your season. I think everyone really did. And post your season, you had just been living it up, doing your thing.
Yeah.
And it was nice to have you back.
Yeah.
But how did it feel for you being there a second time? It's a whole different set of people. I'm guessing some of them you've met outside of the house. But, were there any moments where you're like, yeah, I can remember this from my season. I can remember this feeling, or was it absolutely different?
I would say to you, I love what you said about the feelings because as time went on, I started to remember certain types of feelings. Because I've always said this, I've always been a loner. I don't really have friends like that. And I've never fitted into cliques. So sometimes I would find myself alone and I was like, very familiar feeling being alone. So I had a bit of that, some days, but I think I was just distracted because there were so many arguments. There was food going missing, this going missing, that going missing, and I was just distracted by the task. We would always do tasks, and I think I just basically just lived each day like it was my highlight, and I had fun. So yeah,
I
crazy.
mean, you definitely had a lot of highlights on the show this season in the short time that you, unfortunately, the short time that you were here. Because how do you take this whole jury thing that led to you eventually coming out?
I'll be honest with you, I always speak my mind, and I'm really not happy about it. Obviously because I didn't have the lowest vote. I didn't have the lowest vote, and I just feel like, I was robbed of an opportunity that I shouldn't have been robbed of. And come on, man, I was giving content. I was giving amazing highlights, and I just felt like it was just too soon. I wanted to stay longer. To be honest with you, I wasn't quite sure if I would win, and winning wasn't my
main
thing.
objective.
Wasn't my objective, but I just wanted to be there long enough. And I think the jury thing, it left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. It did, and I think they should scrap it, and if they're definitely scrapping it, they better put me back in there because I've got unfinished business.
I know.
I've got unfinished business.
You literally said this yesterday. I saw a video where it was you and Ebuka, I guess. You were having an interview and we were talking about get me back in there.
Get me back in there. Like, fam, 3 weeks. I was giving amazing content, and I just feel like I was robbed. So definitely, I need to be back in there.
I could definitely level with you on that one, because when I did see the votes and I'm realizing, you didn't have the lowest votes, it's like, come on.
It's not even that. It's like the person that had the lowest vote last time had the lowest vote this time.
And again. So I feel like it's a bit weird. But one thing that has been very synonymous with this season has been the arguments, and a lot of people are of the opinion that they're specifically instigated to bring some form of engagement. Now, I think, I don't know that you were in a lot of fights, but then I think there was one that stood out, which was you and White Money when it came to cooking. And I kind of predicted that something like that was going to happen. Because I knew, you cook really well. It's literally your brand. And so you going into the house, I'm like, that was White Money's thing. How's that going to be? And, what was that situation like? Like, was it that deep to have, gotten to that point?
I see the eye roll.
Girl, like, I'm going to keep it 100, and I'm going to tell you this. For me, the whole kitchen thing, it wasn't too deep. But I feel like with White Money, he's obviously built his brand around or his strategy around the cooking stuff. And when he met me, do you know the funny thing is, when he saw me in the house, I saw the look of, oh my God. And I think he kind of knew that this would happen, and I felt it too. So I would say for him, the reason we had that argument was I felt like he found me intimidating, especially when it came to food, because, not only do I cook in a healthy way, I'm a healthy cook, but I also cook Niger food. I cook the jollof. I cook the soup. I do everything and more. Do you understand? And then I don't think he has much expertise when it comes to continental food.
Different things.
Yeah, and I did. Like I would cook food, and Kidwaya, Neo, everybody would literally chew their bones and spit it on the plate. You know. So at the time I made jollof rice, and I think that's what instigated the whole argument.
Yes,
I made jollof rice.
A lot about
Why
that.
must jollof always cause problems in life?
Come on, man.
In life,
we have the jollof rice in life and in the house. So.
What's up with the jollof? Do you know what I'm saying? So the jollof caused a lot of issues. I made some mad ting jollof, yeah? Doyin tasted it. She took one scoop of my jollof and said, wow, woo. She said, this is smoky. And she said the lines, just like party jollof. Or more, immediately Doyin said party jollof. Me, I use one eye, look white money. I saw red radar come out of his eyes like this. So immediately she said, I said, Omo, we go get problems today. And it just kicked off from there. And I felt, he made me feel like I wasn't allowed in the kitchen. Not intentionally, but it was the vibes. I didn't want to be around a kitchen.
You know, the hovering, the looking.
You know, and then... He just didn't like it.
The kitchen.
You know, like there was a point I made oats and everybody like, oh, let's try a healthy breakfast. You know, I'd been a fit fam. And I made oats and I wanted to serve him. I'm the kind of woman, if I'm cooking, I like to serve you. I don't mind serving anybody. Yeah. And I was like, let me serve you. Let me put this for you. And he was like, no. I said, let me do it. And my guy said no, and then went and did exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
I wanted to serve. And I was like, why? What is the problem? Listen, the kitchen is for everybody. Nobody is supposed to be at this one spot. You know what I mean? That's why I cooked, I worked out, I sang, I acted, I touched on everything because cooking wasn't my strategy. I think I'm more than that, you know?
Yeah.
And I showed that. Like I have my diary sessions, I have a mouth, I can talk, I sing, I can act, I have a thing for now.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do theatre. So like, come on. And it was just a shame because I knew him outside of the house, you know, and it was just a shame to see him that way, especially because outside of the house, he actually wanted to date me, and you coming into the house and you're just acting on a different level. I was disappointed and I was hurt.
There was a time where he wasn't eating your food in the house, was there?
Girl, I noticed that too. I was
Crazy.
like, in this house. In this house. I'm cooking food in this house. And oh yeah, this guy, he will never eat my food. Everybody's licking their hand. Kidwaya, if Kidwaya can fall into the pots where I'm cooking, he will fall into it. Kidwaya, when I'm cooking, he'll be like, oh, is it done yet? Okay, I'll come back. I'll come. And why money never one day until I called him up. I don't know if you guys saw that. I said, why money?
I saw the conversation.
Right? I said, you never eat my food. He was like, no. I said, you've never tasted my food. I said, you will eat my food. And there was a meal I made. I think it was rice or something with some mad ting stew. My guy didn't know when he chewed bono. Drop of it. He now went and told Neo that, or somebody, her food is 10 out of 10. He didn't know.
Now you know.
Now you know.
Speaking of touching a lot of things in a house, I mean, one of the things, you are the queen of the diary room. Yes. Your diary sessions have to be the most interesting diary sessions.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy for the consistency of that one, because in your season, it was one of the things you stood out for.
Yeah.
And so it's wonderful to see that again. Like, I think that was one of the things people were really looking forward to.
Yes. And, you know, talking about that, like you said, in my season, I owned the diary room. You know, it was different then because it was like my run-to place, because I was very into myself. I wasn't confident. So the diary room was the place that I would go and just say it all. And this season, I had the confidence, and as well, you know, diary room was just a place for me to just chill.
Yeah.
And I feel like now I'm out. It's, you know, it's a no-brainer for me to actually start something up, you know? So I'm actually going to start up a podcast now. Ooh. And I'm going to give all the hot dishes. It's going to be a vibe. And it's going to be something for everyone to look forward to.
Okay. Speaking of gist, let's talk a bit about Neo and the whole thing that happened from the beginning till you left.
Yeah.
Because I know that initially you told Biggie that you had a crush on someone.
Yeah.
But you didn't want to say anything because of the age gap.
Yeah.
And, you know, initially people were like, who is it going to be? Because we saw you, you know, you did a little movement around Adekunle initially, and then you did a little thing around Neo, and then we're like, who is the person? So would we be safe to say that person was Neo? 100. The person you had a crush on?
100% it was Neo.
Okay.
I just like to look at him. I like to look at his back, his chest,
his back,
his legs.
I understand that back thing. Actually,
his lips.
Oh no, backs are sexy, actually. There's a thing.
Neo's lips, they are always moisturized. Okay. And he's got amazing skin. He's just, and we share similar interests. Okay, he's into healthy living.
Your eyes are looking so late.
Girl, like, come on. He is eye candy, you know. And you know, I would always say this. Like, I wish Neo the best in everything he will do when he comes out, because he's an amazing man. And yeah.
She's like, let me stop myself right there.
So, you know, with the whole Neo thing, there was a bit where, for some reason, Princess seemed to be moving around the whole Neo thing, picking a problem with you. Princess, when she was there. Well, okay. I'm just gonna...
Sorry, I didn't hear you properly. The earphones are blocking my earwaves.
Okay. But yeah, like, she seemed to have a problem with you. You seemed to have a problem with her because of you felt that she was being disrespectful to Neo and someone who had already expressed interest in Neo.
100.
And she seemed to have a problem with you because of she felt that, you know, you were antagonizing her somehow.
Girl, come on. Do I come across as somebody that would do that? I mean, however she wanted to take how I reacted to her, that's on her. But the only issue I had was, come on, you told me you had a boyfriend outside of the house, and I told you I was single, and you know Neo is single. So if you had a boyfriend out of the house, it's not that deep. Like, you don't have to be around the guy 24/7. And why would you have an issue with me? Because I would notice, like, anytime I'll be around Neo, her eyes would be looking. And why would you have an issue with me being around him? Why would you have an issue with me kissing him? Like, come on, you have a man. And I hear she has a very good man outside of the house. You know, a very good man that looks after her. And I'm so happy for her. So why would you be on that P? So the only issue I had was, girl, like, come on, like, nobody's married in this house. Like, Neo is not married. I'm not married. And if I want to flirt, allow me to flirt. And I flirted within reason. I wasn't disrespectful.
Yes.
I came up to Tolani and I told her, she knew I liked him, but I said, I'm going to stand back a bit. And when I saw Tolani not trying to, I gave you space.
You're like,
actually, I gave you space. So.
Tolani never actually had an issue with you, with Neo, nothing.
Did you see what she did to me on Saturday?
The way she pushed you away.
I told you, I grabbed me. I said, I don't like that. I said to him, I'm not an anyhow girl. I'm a classy babe. I do not like... That's what I told him. I don't want to be disrespected. And then he was like, I don't like it either. So...
It be happening a lot.
It be happening a lot. But me, I just... Anyway, we still kiss that night. We sure did.
But to be honest, if the chance came for you to go back in, I think I can speak for all of us.
If you don't go, I will personally push you back into the house.
A lot of people were very upset. Back. Twitter was in shock. Like, how is this even possible? So I do hope. But if you were to be, you know, I don't know, called to be a juror, would you go? Or
if I was called, I would not do it because it's the whole
jury system,
whatever. It's something that I don't stand for.
Okay.
So I will not be a part of something that I don't stand for, and something that really took away precious time which I would have had in that house. I had so much more to give, so I would not be a part of it. If I would go back, I would surely...
what is next? What are we expecting?
Oh my gosh, like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of things. My cooking, I have a restaurant which, I pay for the space, I did it up, then I had to go into the house. What else is there? I'm going to do lots more fitness videos. It's just so much more. What is that thing called? What is that thing called I want to do? My podcast I mentioned. Okay. Sorry, I keep calling it a hotspot for some reason. So I'm doing my podcast. So guys, you need to look out for my podcast. It's going to be amazing. And if you loved me on the show, loved the energy, just stay tuned. And it's going to be dropping actually very soon, this weekend. So let's see.
Uriel's coming for our jobs, but that's okay.